Retain gang, what's poppin', man? This your boy Tay, back at y'all again. Hey man, so this is part 2 to the first video I made about, meditation. So if you haven't watched the first part, I would advise you to go ahead and watch that first, because I don't want you to miss any information, or I don't want you to miss, the original point of view of this topic, right? I'll leave a link in the description to the first part of the video, and I'll also pin a comment with the link in the comments, okay? So go ahead and check that out, man. But to continue this conversation, the reason why people have a bad experience with meditating or from meditation, first let's talk about just the idea. Like, people get into becoming their best version, or they gain awareness of spirituality, and they think it's gonna be a cakewalk. I think people have this image of spirituality as you're gonna be this peaceful person and always in this zen-like state, no problems, life is gonna be a cakewalk for you. And that's far from the truth. Actually, the more aware you become, the more responsible you are for your actions, your choices, and the energy that you feel. You become more responsible because you're aware of it now. You know what I'm saying? It's like the more knowledge you gain of self, the more responsibility you have to take care of yourself. And I think a lot of people jump into this thinking that it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be sweet, and it's not the case, right? You have to deal with yourself. And a lot of people are scared of themselves. They're scared to deal with their problems. We run from ourselves. So when it comes down to meditation, you have a bad experience because there's something inside of you that you haven't let go, that you haven't fixed. You haven't found closure with certain things. We're like hoarders. We hold on to all these feelings and emotions and all these traumatic events that happen in our life, and we never find closure for them. We never let them go. We never find a release for these things. We tend to want to sweep our problems under the rug and then try to be a higher version of ourselves. It don't work like that. If you want to transcend into a higher version of yourself, you got to deal with those problems. You can't take that. If you want to blast up, you can't take that with you. You trying to blast up and you got all this trash and all this junk just piled up with you. You ain't using it for nothing. It has no value, no use. You just got it with you. Throw some of that stuff off board. Throw some of it overboard. Start throwing that trash overboard. You don't need that. So people have a bad experience because they still got to focus and work on themselves. And when you meditate, when you're on this journey period to become a better version of yourself, it's going to bring all that to the surface. So all these feelings and emotions, that's low vibrational, they're just sitting dormant inside of you. They're sitting there dormant. And when you start to get awareness of yourself, they're going to bubble up to the surface and force you to fix it. Look, if you want to become your best version, you got to deal with this problem. You got to deal with this. A lot of people get a bad experience and say, oh, well, it's demonic. It's demonic. No, what happened is these demonic spirits or whatever, they feed off of your weaknesses. They find a chink in your armor and they attack, right? And they focus and they make that certain event or traumatic event, it'll grow into your life, into a problem or a situation. This is why you got to cleanse yourself out, right? With my spiritual journey, man, when I first started doing these things, I started having bad experiences too. And I was like, wait a minute, you know what? Am I doing something wrong? Like, am I really tapping into something that I shouldn't be? But then as I kept going, I realized that it was only making me stronger. I realized that it was really making me a better person because I was forced to deal with things and release them and find closure. right? And I realized that every step of my journey from then on, I became a better person. I became more at peace with myself. You can't get to the light until you've gone into the darkness, right? Until you've gone into the darkness. You got to go through hell before you get to heaven. You got to. That one bad experience that somebody gets and they run away from it. They're scared of it. When the Most High don't operate in fear. It's not a fearful energy or a fearful spirit. You got to be a warrior in your life. You got to be a warrior in your life. You can't be running away from your problems. You got to have your chest out, chin up, and deal with it head first. You know, you got to be a warrior of light in your own life. And I had to learn that too. You can't be afraid. People who say don't do this or don't do that, or oh, it's bad, I had a bad experience, so I'm not going to do it. You're running away from something. Instead of saying it's a bad thing, why don't you try to understand why you had a bad experience and try to learn from it, grow from it. What are you afraid of? Stop running from yourself and start correcting yourself. How you expect to be a higher being and you're afraid to deal with yourself? Meditation is self-awareness. You're just becoming more self-aware. So any attacks that you get, it's coming from your own self. It's just being pulled out to the surface. Everything's about intention. If you go into it with good intentions, then that's what you're going to get out of it. If you go into it with negative intentions, that's what you're going to get out of it. Everything's a reflection of you. That's it. Can't nothing do any harm to you without your permission. Without your permission. But you can be tricked into using your own free will against you to make bad choices. Right? So like I said, in my journey, man, I had to deal with all those, those low frequencies and things like that. Because I had to clear myself out before I can see the best, before I can see the higher version. And once I've done that, now it's like when I meditate, I'm at peace with myself. And if I do have any problems that I've had inside of myself, new problems that come up, new things that I hold on to, it still comes to the surface and I still have to deal with those things. So meditation is not about having a bad experience. Don't dwell on the bad experience, but dwell on the experience that is forcing you to deal with. The energy that is forcing you to deal with. Okay? That's all it is. Like I say, you always want to ask for protection and ask for guidance from the Most High. That's automatic, whatever you're doing. That way you got that support. But don't be afraid of yourself. Too many people are afraid to deal with themselves. You got people who can't even look themselves in the eyes in the mirror. They can't even look themselves in the eyes. Because there's so much regret and there's so much shame. They can't dare to look themselves in the eyes. You got to fix that. You got to fix that. You can't just, I want to change myself. All right, I'm going to start doing this. Everything from my past, that's the past now. I'm not going to. No, you got to deal with that. You can't just erase that like it never happened. Things that you never found closure for, you got to deal with that. Okay? This will eliminate your bad experiences. And then you will start to have a more pleasant experience when you're doing these self-awareness practices. Because that's all it is. That's all it is. Remember, everything's a reflection of you. So if you feel like something is troubling you, you need to go inside and figure out the source. Where is that stemming from? Okay? Hey man, Retain Gang, this your boy Tay. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Also, let me know what y'all thought about this video or what y'all would like me to talk about next. Y'all have a beautiful day, man, and I'm out.